Hi, and welcome to the weekly college football pick'em show here at thegruelingtruth.net, brought to you by Gridiron Mo, an interactive football game app which pits you against other football fans across the country in predicting the next play within a live NFL game. Think you're smarter than the average NFL fan? See for yourself at Gridiron Mo through this website or at gridironmo.com. My name is Oz Davis. I'll be your host. At Gridiron Mo.
GridironMo.com. I'm just giving you a hard time. .net. Go ahead, Oz.
Wow, way to take the wind out of my sails. This is the difficult part of these podcasts, man.
I know.
My name, I think my name is Oz Davis. I think I'll be the host for this head-to-head discussion on college football here. The head on the show is that voice you just heard, Mike Goodpaster, the fearless leader here at thegruelingtruth.net, not .org, actually. How you doing tonight, Mike?
All right.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay.
Saving my breath for the important topics we're going to discuss tonight.
Yeah, and there will be some. Pitting his wits against Mike this week is the co-host of the weekly Tattletown Huddle Green Bay Packers podcast here at thegruelingtruth.net, as well as a panelist on the NFL Weekly Pick'em show. His name is Aaron Zepnick. Aaron, how you doing?
Doing well, Oz. Thanks for hosting, and it's always good to be back talking football with two of my main fellas.
Gee, he thanked me for hosting, Mike. Isn't that awesome?
Well, I would like to thank you, too, Oz, for everything you do.
Wow.
I don't want to get on your bad side. Since Aaron's second, I figured I would, too.
I like, wow. This, I don't know. I don't know what's coming here. I think this is some kind of weird conspiracy. But we're going to talk some college football. Let's talk some college football. Let's talk college rankings first, because that's so much fun. We like to do that. Last week, the committee put Alabama at number 1, Ohio State number 2, Michigan at number 3, which I was a bit surprised at, and Clemson at number 4. Louisville might have been given some consideration, but as we now know, they probably weren't worth it, thanks to that shellacking at Houston. Over here at the Grueling Truth, our Week 13 ratings, as produced by Mike Goodpaster, are up, and this week those ratings are, drum roll please, number 1, Alabama, number 2, Ohio State, number 3, Clemson, number 4, Michigan. No surprises there, I think. Number 5, we have Penn State, number 6, Washington, 7, Wisconsin, and 8, Oklahoma. Aaron, I'm going to give you the first crack tonight. Any fault with these rankings? You want to debate anything?
Well, it doesn't matter what I think.
That may be the correct
answer. At the end of the day, it's what the committee and the FBS thinks. It's Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson right now. After that, you could throw probably 5-6 teams into a hat, and any one of them finishes strong, they could get in. I think Wisconsin, Washington, Oklahoma, and Penn State are all in a position to get in. You could even argue that Colorado or Oklahoma State could get in. So we'll see what happens here in the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Colorado may have lost too recently for that, but now
when
Mike,
did they lose recently?
They lost to now you're going to make me go to the notes.
They beat Washington State.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Wait. Oh, here, I got it. Hold on just a moment. This is great radio. Yeah, they lost to USC.
But that was like a month or more ago.
Yeah, but that's what took them out of contention. They don't lose that game. They're on an 8-game winning streak right now. You know, and I mean, that just losing that game took them out. Now they're at number 9 in the Grueling Truth poll, and they're pretty close to that in the committee poll. Can they make up this ground? I mean, the question I had for you, Mike, was this, on the same topic. You think that there's a chance that the table is being set, that the road is being paved, however you want to put it, for Oklahoma to sneak into this thing?
Well, I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance. I mean, I don't think the road's paid for them. I mean, I think the team that is interesting is USC. I mean, because they've beaten a lot of quality opponents. They get to play – I mean, they could get to play Washington again. And I think the road's really paid for Washington. I think if Washington wins out, they'll get in the Final Four. Because Ohio
Really?
State or Michigan, one of them's going to knock the other one off anyways.
Okay, what does Penn State need to do to get in the 4?
Penn State? Bring Joe Paterno back from the dead. Well, maybe not anymore.
That might not be a popular choice.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be as big a deal as it would have been like in the 80s. But Penn State, I would say this. If Penn State dominates Michigan State, they go to the Big Ten Championship and win that, I would think they would have an outside shot. It's just, I mean, they still need other people to lose, I think. They're going to need Washington to lose because, like I said, when you look at your top 4, Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and Michigan, I mean, Ohio State and Michigan, one of them is going to knock each other out this week. So that leaves a spot open. But if Washington goes undefeated, you know, Alabama's probably already a lock. I think if Ohio State beats Michigan, I think they're a lock. If Clemson wins the ACC, they're in. If Washington wins theirs, they're
in. Okay, Aaron? You like that analysis?
I don't think USC stands a chance with 3 losses. I don't see how you could put them in over a lot of other teams that are in front of them with 1 or 2.
Well, there's nobody in front of them between 5 and 9 that can beat them. And I would say this, right now the way they're playing, there's probably only 2 teams that I would pick over them. And I would think that you would want the 4 best teams at the end of the season.
Well, the 4 best teams, you can't say that they're one of the 4 best teams with 3 losses.
Really? Because, you know,
really?
I mean, I remember teams winning the NCAA championship that were 7 or 8 seeds.
They don't have
whoever the best team is should be in the playoffs.
And I'm sorry, but a best team in this season doesn't get beat 52-6 by anybody.
It's the first game of the year.
If you're a top 4 team in the country, you're competitive in every game.
They have a different quarterback now. I mean, it was a young team at the start of the year. I mean, it's happened before. I mean, I know it happened before you were born, so you don't want to hear it, but 1975, UCLA at home got beat 41-20 by Ohio State. They turned it around. Ohio State was undefeated, no losses, ranked number 1. They play in the Rose Bowl, and UCLA beats them 21-10.
But did they have 3 losses when there were 6 other teams with 1 or 2 in front of them?
Well, UCLA didn't win a national championship. That's just a team. I mean, you can't say because somebody
This is for the national championship, though, Mike. You can't say that a Washington or a Clemson or even Wisconsin deserves to sit out of that Final Four if they have 2 losses and then another team has 3 in the Pac-12.
Well, then why isn't Western Michigan in? Why don't you fight for Western Michigan to play in the Final Four because they don't have any losses? I mean, they lost to Alabama, who is the number 1 ranked team in the country. They lost to Stanford, who is a top 25 team when McCafferty's playing, and he was there. They lost to Utah, who's a top 25 team. All 3 of those were on the road. Since then, they've beaten Colorado, which is a top 10 team. They beat Washington, which was a top 3 team or 4 team at the time. They blow out UCLA, no big deal. They'll blow out Notre Dame, but then they get to play Washington again. So, I mean, they could have 3 or 4 wins against top 10 competition. Wisconsin doesn't have that. Penn State doesn't have that.
Well, Wisconsin has 2 losses by a touchdown.
Wow, they have 2 losses.
They're losses. Team, that's all they've lost.
They're losses.
They beat a top 25 team in LSU.
LSU is not a top 25 team anymore.
They are right now.
They are?
Yes, they are.
So
25th.
You think a team that's ranked 23rd losing at home to Florida is going to stay in the top 25?
They're at 25 right now.
They're at 25 right now. Well, the rankings hadn't come out for the week, and your best win is against a team that's ranked 25. USC has beat a team that's ranked number 4.
And they beat Nebraska, who's number 17.
Number 9. Nebraska is crap. Nebraska beats Maryland 20-7.
They're better record-wise. They're better than USC.
Oh my God! So you're going to tell me Nebraska would beat USC?
I'm not saying that. You go against the competition.
Jesus, you cannot use the record argument unless you think Western Michigan's in the top 4.
Conference.
How can Nebraska deserve to be in, or how can Wisconsin deserve to be in the Final Four over a team that's undefeated then?
I didn't say they deserve to be in the Final Four.
Yeah, you did, because you said the team with the least amount of losses deserves it more.
With the toughest schedule. Western Michigan does not have a toughest schedule.
Well, I can tell you this.
Mediocre Big Ten teams.
I don't understand this because USC has played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, They'll have played 6 teams in the top 25.
But
4
they
of them in
lost
the top
half
12.
of those, Mike.
They lost half of
those games. They lost 3 games to teams that are not as good in the rankings as LSU and Nebraska. You cannot tell me that they deserve to be in over Wisconsin.
Okay, so you're telling me that LSU and Nebraska are ranked higher than Utah?
You can't even tell me USC deserves to be in over Penn State. Penn State beat the number 2 team in the country. USC lost by 46 points to the number 1 team in the country.
Well, if you use that, I mean,
close.
Michigan's not very good, and Michigan beat Penn State by 39. So by your logic, Penn State's eliminated.
They're number 3 in the country, and they're 10-1. I can't say that Michigan's not very good.
Well, if you watch them play, you know they're not very good because they have no quarterback.
Michigan may be overrated.
Michigan is big time overrated.
They have a great coach. Yeah. You just raved on this show a couple weeks ago about Michigan's defense and their coach. And
they still have a great defense and a coach, but with no offense, they're not beating Ohio State or Alabama. They're not beating
There's a lot of teams that don't have a really prolific offense that would beat teams, and I told you this 2 weeks ago, that Louisville, just because they have a great offense, doesn't mean they're going to win all their games. They have no defense. None.
Louisville has no defense. Okay.
They just gave up like 50 points.
Well, how about this then? Why doesn't Houston belong over Wisconsin or Penn State?
Because of where they are in the rankings and their schedule.
Because of where they are in the rankings. But see, okay, so if USC gets ranked higher than them, you got no problem with it. I mean, because really, if you look at
USC has a tougher schedule than them. I get that. They do not have a tougher schedule than Wisconsin.
Who does it? Houston?
USC. Or Houston.
USC does not have a tougher schedule than Wisconsin. Okay.
That's right.
I think they
play Alabama, which is better than anybody that they played. I don't care if they lost or not. You said the tougher schedule. They got Stanford, they got Utah, you got Colorado, you got Washington. And then on top of that, they don't get to, how many bad teams are in the Pac-12? You got a ton of them. You guys are playing 3 in a row.
Ohio State and Michigan are 2 and 3 in the country. Nebraska was in the top 10 all year.
I still don't understand how you get credit for losing.
LSU started out at number 4, and Wisconsin beat them.
LSU started out at number 4. I know they're a great football team. It was a huge win for Wisconsin.
Well, it's the SEC bias. Everyone thinks the SEC would
give a shit what everybody thinks. I mean, what the hell? I've watched LSU play. They're 6-4. You're hanging your hat on beating a 6-4 team. Who's not going to be ranked when
I'm saying they beat Nebraska? They beat the only
Nebraska.
Team that
Michigan,
which Iowa
they beat Nebraska in overtime.
They beat Northwestern, who's going to be bowl eligible. They beat Nebraska. They beat LSU. They beat 6 bowl eligible teams this year.
Wow! And any team with 6 wins,
they lost by a touchdown to the top, 2 of the top 3, and you're telling me they don't deserve to get in before a team that's 6-3 and lost by 46 points.
Well, you're saying whoever played the tougher schedule, and I'm sorry, but the teams you just read off they beat are not as good as the teams that USC's beat. I mean, you're throwing Northwestern in.
Isn't the argument? Isn't the argument for USC the fact that they've won their last 7?
The fact that they're the hottest team, and they do play defense, by the way. They beat Colorado. They beat 2 teams that are top 10 teams. Your best win is Nebraska.
USC's not a good football team, Mike, but even though you start out 1-3, you still don't deserve to be in the national championship.
So you don't think that the 4 best teams should be in it? I mean, the teams that are the 4 best at the end of the season are what should be in it.
I disagree.
Because it's a national championship.
The 4 best full seasons deserve to be in it.
The 4 best full seasons?
Yes.
Jesus. Too bad the NFL doesn't do that.
You don't play your season.
Tom Brady had 12 Super Bowls.
You don't play your season in quarters or halves.
Oh, boy. I've never heard that argument. That argument, to me, makes no sense because it's supposed to be the best team at the end of the year wins a national championship. It's supposed to be that way.
Well, okay, so let's just say this, hypothetically speaking. Let's say you have the undefeated Western Michigan, who we agree deserves to be thought of in getting in. Let's say you have Alabama and Western Michigan face off. Then you have the winner of Ohio State and Michigan face off. Just for argument's sake, that's who deserves to go. Okay? USC beats Michigan or Ohio State. You think they deserve to play Alabama for the national championship, who already beat them by 46 points, Do you think anyone in America wants to watch that?
Yeah, but I would because right now the way USC's playing, they've probably got the best chance.
And then what happens when they get beat again?
Who says they're going to get beat again?
By 46 points or worse again. Then you got 8 teams in America that have a legitimate gripe that they didn't get a shot because USC got let in.
That makes no sense. There's not 8 teams that have a legitimate shot.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't beaten a top 10 team, I don't see how you can even
Washington,
complain.
You got Oklahoma, Colorado, Wisconsin, Penn State, Oklahoma
I just
State,
don't buy the Wisconsin
Colorado.
argument, and I really have a hard time buying the Penn State one.
Well, Penn State is based purely on the story, I think.
Well, they're based purely on the fact that they beat Ohio State.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
They got nothing else.
And I think
Wisconsin. I'm sorry. Your schedule is not that tough if you have no wins against top 25 teams. And Wisconsin doesn't except for Nebraska.
Which is going to fall off.
If they win the Big Ten, if they lose the Big Ten championship, they don't get in. I agree. That's their third loss. They're not even in the conversation. If they beat Ohio State or Michigan State or Penn State in the Big Ten title game, they deserve to be in the conversation.
Well, if they beat Michigan State in the Big Ten Conference Championship game, I agree.
Penn State and Michigan and Ohio State.
I agree this. They're in the conversation if they beat. The problem with them is they're going to end up beating Penn State. That's the thing that's going to kick them in the ass. That's what you don't get. If they're beating Ohio State or Michigan in that game, they're in the Final Four. But people are not going to respect a win against them the way they would against Nebraska or against Michigan or Ohio State.
If Penn State beat Ohio State and
you're not hearing me. I'm telling you that a win against Ohio State in a Big Ten championship game would get Wisconsin in the Final Four. We're not debating whether it makes sense or not. We're debating what to do. You know what I'm saying? Beating Penn State is not going to get people's attention. Beating Ohio State or Michigan would. And, I mean, right now I think Penn State's better than Michigan. But when it comes down to it, they don't have the name anymore. Well, and that's all I'm saying. When it comes down to it, Wisconsin has no chance because they don't have a chance to beat a marquee team if Penn State is who they're playing in the championship game.
This proves my point on the USC factor. Penn State's actually just as hot as USC. They lost to Michigan 49-10, and they've blown a lot of people out since then, including beating Ohio State. They didn't blow them out, but they beat Ohio State. And now you're saying the same thing with 2 different teams. Penn State difference is they only have 2 losses. USC has 3.
Well, the other difference is the fact that Penn State has 1 really good win. I mean, that's simple. I mean, who else was their big win? I mean, if you look at this, Penn State lost to Pitt, which is not a terrible loss. It's at Pitt. Pitt's a good team. They beat Temple by 7. They beat Minnesota by 3. They beat Alabama 38-4 or Maryland 38-14. They blew out Purdue, but who doesn't? They blew out Iowa, which is a good win. They barely beat Indiana, and they beat Rutgers 39-0. So I think when you compare that to USC's beating Colorado and Washington, I mean, I think the beating Colorado and Washington's a bigger deal than just beating Ohio State. And then having trouble with Temple, Minnesota. I mean, let's face it, if you only beat Maryland 38-14, you're not trying because they lose by 50 points to every good team in the Big Ten.
Right. Okay. Well, let's move on. Let's move on to something.
And it doesn't change the fact that they just put 16 teams in this. There'd be no arguments, and we'd have a real national champion. True. And really, Aaron, that's my problem with 4, because if you get a team as hot as Penn State or as hot as USC or anybody that may have lost 2 or 3 games early, but now they're playing better than anybody else, they should have a chance. Because in the end, the whole goal for your season as a coach is to get a lot better during the season and be the champion at the end. The way the college football is set up, unless you're in Alabama or Ohio State or Michigan, you better not lose any games if you want that chance. And it's unfair. It's unfair to Wisconsin. It's unfair to Colorado. It's unfair to all these teams.
I agree.
Great. All right. So agreement is good. Let's go on to the next segment here. Let's talk a little Heisman Trophy, because all of a sudden there's something to talk about after kind of a shaky performance by the leading contender. Now, Mike, you just put out your Heisman Trophy power rankings as well, and you've still got Mr. Jackson at number 1, but you have Oklahoma's Baker Mayfield at number 2 and gaining. You've also got Jalen Hurts and running back Donta Foreman of Texas in the running. What is Lamar Jackson?
Still, he's up there.
Yeah, I was just taking the top names off the list. What, in your opinion, what does Lamar Jackson have to do to ice this thing? What does he have to do to clinch this thing?
He has to hope that J.T. Barnett, Jabril Peppers, Baker Mayfield don't have just unbelievable games. Because right now his problem is all he's got left is a game against Kentucky. No matter what he does there, I don't think that's going to have a huge difference. But if Baker Mayfield goes and beats Oklahoma State and throws 5 touchdown passes, or Barrett comes out and plays awesome, then he's got a problem, I think.
Mm-hmm. How come Donta Foreman isn't getting more chatter? I mean, here's a guy, okay, so he's a running back, but he's so much better than the competition, whereas you have 3 or 4 or 5 quarterbacks mentioned in this thing. How come Foreman's not getting more consideration here? Do you think he might sneak in?
The only person, I believe, I know he was the first, but about the only one I ever remember winning the Heisman Trophy on a team with a losing record was Paul Hornung.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
And if he'd have played Louisville instead of Notre Dame, he wouldn't have won it.
That's a big minus, yeah. Even after a game last week where he's like carrying the ball 51 times, even after that.
But they lost.
Not enough. Yeah.
They lost it to a 1 in 19.
Not enough individual effort.
And we all know this is a popularity contest more than who the best football player is.
Oh, sure, of course. Aaron, what do you think? Do you see any possibility of an upset here?
I do. I think the winner of the Michigan-Ohio State game, whether it be Barrett or Jabril Peppers, if they have a spectacular performance against the other team who is 2 or 3 in the nation, that could close the gap a little bit. Jalen Hurts, I think, is an outside shot as well, being the best player on the best team in the country. Usually gets you some high consideration, usuly. And I think Jackson's spectacular. I think he had a lot of drops the other night when they played Houston. There's a lot of receivers dropping balls. I think I forget his name, but number 88, I think, dropped at least 3 or 4 passes himself. His team didn't play well. Their offensive line had a couple injuries. He still carried that team to competitiveness for most of the game. They got dominated, but he was the one shining star. You could tell he was still playing, and I think that it's his to lose still because of the fact that Peppers and Barrett play each other. One of them will cancel each other out, and if it's a close, low-scoring game, which I anticipate it being, I think that they won't do enough to stand out in the voters' eyes, and he may have solidified, any sort of doubt all year. He can run, he can pass. I think he's leading the nation in touchdowns. He's got unbelievable numbers. He's gaudy, and the guy that's kind of fallen off, I think, is that Pumphrey from San Diego State we talked about a couple weeks ago. Nothing really eye-popping since then. I agree with Mike. It's really Jalen Hurts, Barrett, Peppers, and Jackson, in my opinion, and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Mayfield, I think, is moving up the charts. Mike, do we know, is Jackson going pro next year, or is he going to stay for another year?
I would imagine he would stay. I don't know. If he wins the Heisman, it's probably hard to stay, but I would think he stays.
Well, he doesn't want to go to Cleveland.
Nobody wants to go to Cleveland.
Right.
Seniors are asking to stay that might get drafted first so they don't have to go to Cleveland or San Fran.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of student athletes looking into grad school all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's talk next week's game. Okay, so as always, Mr. Goodpaster has given me a list. We're going to talk about these games in context of the point spread as well as just in context of their importance. Unfortunately, on this first game, I've got no point spread.
Hey, wait, I wanted to bring up real fast
the
fact that New Mexico got destroyed last week, too.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Whatever. Yeah, we mathematically eliminated ourselves from the Mountain West Championship as well, but I won't go into the sordid details there. In any case, let's talk about number one game on the slate this week. As per the list, is number 24 Nebraska at Iowa. Now, the reason why the sports books have not posted a point spread or an over/under on this game is because the status of Nebraska's top two quarterbacks is still unknown. Apparently, Riker Fife had surgery on his non-throwing hand on Sunday, and apparently Tommy Armstrong is still injured. So we're not posting a line on this. I'll go ahead and go first. I'm going to say with this uncertainty, Iowa's going to pull this one off and knock Nebraska right out of the 25.
Well, and I'll say this. It doesn't matter what quarterback plays, Iowa will beat them.
Okay, there you go. That's an easy one. Aaron?
I agree. Nebraska's a team that's reeling, and, they had some unfortunate injuries and stuff this year. They had a lot to overcome. They had some emotional inspiration, let's say, from the loss of their punter in the car accident over the off season. But I think that's kind of worn off, and the players are just not playing right now.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So Iowa.
Give us three Iowas without a point spread. Right. Okay. Second game. Here's one that we've been waiting for weeks now. We've been talking about this one ever since we started doing this show. Number 6 Washington is a 5.5 favorite at number 22 Washington State. Okay, Mike, you've been talking up Washington again lately. What do you think about that?
Talk them both up. I think it's a hell of a matchup.
I know. Okay.
I don't know.
And?
Do I got to pick it?
I don't. It's
pass.
Your format. You'll pass.
I'll pass.
Wow, what a skirt.
I'm going to take Washington. They got more to play for.
Okay, all right.
They're getting 5.5 or giving 5.5?
No, Washington's 5.5-point favorite. So, yeah, giving 5.5.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Washington.
Okay, all right. Aaron, what do you got here?
It's at Washington State. I think that's a tough place to play. I agree that Washington has a lot to play for, but I think Washington State being an in-state rivalry game at home, they don't want to lose this game. I'm gonna go with Washington State. With the
you think Washington State's going to win outright, or they're just going to cover that?
I think it'll be a field goal game.
Uh-huh.
They could win or lose by a field goal. I think it'll be a good game.
Yep. I think this is my feeling too. Now, Washington's coming off of a nice win against Arizona State, 44-18, after that USC game, which really, I'm surprised that they came back so well from it. But I'm still thinking about that game since I watched so much of it. I don't know if State wins, but I think they're going to cover. So I'm going to take Washington State plus the points here. Right. Okay. The next one, the mysterious University of Toledo at number 11 Western Michigan, who is a 9-point favorite. All right, I'll go first. Yeah, I'm with Mike on this one. I'm drinking the Western Michigan Kool-Aid.
I didn't pick this game. Toledo's really good. Toledo beat Arkansas this year. At Arkansas.
Well, yeah, but I'm just going with all your talking up of Western Michigan in general. I mean,
right.
This is an exciting team. This team is what? I wrote this down. Yeah, they're 5th in offensive yardage. They're number 1 in passing yardage. This is a fun team. Their
defense is ranked pretty decent too, I believe.
Sorry, who?
I think their defense is ranked fairly high too, isn't it?
Yeah, to be totally honest, did not look at those stats. I just had a feeling. I was wondering if they were number 1 passing, and yeah, I was.
It's about time you were totally honest, Oz.
Yeah, well, come on. I'm always honest. I don't lie. As far as picking,
I think you hit a nerve there, Aaron.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I had a high-pitched sound of his voice. He sounded like a 12-year-old going into puberty.
Going into puberty.
Why? I don't lie.
Yeah, playoffs. I'm just trying to win.
You do that pretty good.
I'm going to go Western Michigan minus the points here, -9. Aaron, what do you like?
Western Michigan. It's a sweep.
Minus the 9. Okay, because we know Mike is going Toledo plus the 9, right?
I'm thinking about it, but I'm going to go Western Michigan since it's at Western Michigan. But it would not surprise me if Toledo gives them trouble.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't you take them to cover then? You got 9 points there.
Yeah, because I think Western Michigan will beat them worse than that. It just wouldn't surprise me if it was a tougher game than people think.
Okay. Wanted more
28-17, something like that.
Yeah, see, there you go. See, well, Aaron's being brave. He's got cojones. Come on,
he
Mike.
took Western Michigan now. Not being brave.
Yeah, but he was specific.
I was brave enough to throw out a score prediction.
There you go. See, that's what I mean. He was specific. That counts for something. I don't know what. Right. Next game, Kentucky at number 16, Louisville, plummeting down the charts after that butt drumming at the hands of Houston. 23.5-point favorites, nevertheless. Mike, are they worth 23.5 points here?
Yeah, I'll give the points. I think Louisville's going to be angry, and I don't think Kentucky's very good. They just happen to be in the SEC East, which shouldn't even be in a power conference. They had to put the SEC East by themselves and be like a small mid-major or something.
All right, Aaron, what are you thinking here?
I agree. I think Louisville bounces back in a big way. I think they blow out Kentucky. As much as I love the Kentucky basketball team, I'm not a huge fan of the football team. If they're playing the Kentucky basketball team and they had 23.5, I would probably say Kentucky'd cover.
Yeah, they should do a doubleheader of this game. They should play the football and the basketball game on the same day. Yeah, all right. 23.5. That smells like a push to me if it weren't for the half point. So yeah, I'll say Louisville wins by the 24. I'll take minus the points on that one. All right. Getting interesting. Michigan State at number 5, Penn State, who is a 12.5-point favorite. I would have thought they might get a few more points there, but I'm not getting off the Penn State bandwagon. I want confusion in the BCS. I take Penn State minus the points. What about you, Aaron?
I agree. I'm going with Penn State. I think in order to keep their hopes alive, they're going to have to make it a statement game. I think they beat them by 3 touchdowns, honestly.
Okay. All right. Good thing you're being honest for once, Aaron. Mike, what do you got in this game?
I am going to take Michigan State in the points.
Minus the points. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great. All right. How about this one? Here's another one that.
No, I'm taking Michigan State plus the points. What do you mean minus?
Michigan State plus the points. Okay, you are taking Michigan. Michigan State's going to cover this one, huh?
Yeah. Okay. I don't think they'll win the game, but I think they'll keep it close enough.
How many points is the spread on this?
It's going to get boring if we just all keep picking the same damn thing. So
it's 12.5.
Yep. Oh, don't worry, we're not all.
I disagreed on Washington State.
I know, but it was only one. Now we're getting boring. So go ahead.
No, we won't be boring forever. Here's another game that we've been talking about for a while. Number 12 Auburn at number 1 Alabama. Alabama 17.5-point favorites. Okay, Mike. You got to go with
I'll take Auburn in the points. It's a rivalry game. I mean, I don't think they got a chance of winning the game, but I think they have a chance to maybe keep it within 3 touchdowns, which gives me a chance to win.
Okay. All right, Aaron, what do you think?
I'm going to take Alabama. I think after leaving Tennessee Chattanooga hanging around, I think they have a statement to make and a point to prove that it is them and everybody else, and I think Alabama will win this game 34-10, something like that.
I'm going against the grain there. I think by letting Chattanooga stay in that game, they showed that they're not quite as impervious as we think. They'll probably win this game, but I think Auburn covers. Look, Alabama played USC in week 1. They played Western Michigan in week 2. What since then?
They play Western Michigan? What are you talking about?
Alabama, no?
Who'd
they play in week 2? Who'd they play?
Well, number 1, let's think about it. If Alabama and Western Michigan would have played, there wouldn't be 2 undefeated teams.
Is it Michigan?
No, Oz, it's not Michigan either.
I can't read my own notes. All right. Who did they get in week 2?
I don't know. You're the host. You're supposed to know these things.
Okay. Well, I'm too tired to deal with this right now. I don't care. I like Auburn plus 17.5 here. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with it right now. Onward. Minnesota at number 7, Wisconsin. Wisconsin favored by 2 touchdowns, 14 points exactly. There's no way I'm going to go against Aaron and Wisconsin here. Wisconsin covers. I don't know if they can score 21 points on offense, but I'll say Wisconsin covers this. Mike?
I'll take Minnesota in 2 touchdowns. I think Wisconsin wins the game. I think it's a lot to give up in a rivalry game. But then again, I don't think Minnesota's very good either. But I'm going to go with Minnesota and take the points, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I'm not real convinced about that pick.
Okay.
Aaron, you going to take... you're going to give
do you even have to ask me? On Wisconsin.
All right, well done. Right, yeah, okay. Western Kentucky, very close to Western Michigan. Was who Alabama beat in week 2.
And they're nowhere near Western Michigan.
Man, sorry guys, not at my best. Moving on, Notre Dame probably got to be one of the biggest disappointments of the season at number 10 USC. Minus 17, USC 17-point favorites. Is this about as obvious as it sounds, Mike?
No, it's a big rivalry game. It's the biggest West Coast rivalry there is since, Tupac and, was it Biggie or Dr. Dre?
No, Biggie.
I don't know. Aaron's the rap aficionado, so he would know that more than I would. But
I believe he was Dr. Dre and Biggie.
Yeah, there you see. I told you Aaron would know. Aaron's down with the hip-hop culture. Because there's a lot of that in Green Bay, a lot of rapping.
Yeah.
There is in Indiana also. But
it's a good thing that nothing rhymes with McCarthy.
Well, I'm going to go with USC and give the points. Just because, Brian Kelly, I'm hoping he gets his ass kicked at his farewell game. But go ahead.
I agree with Mike here, even though it is a rivalry game and the history with USC and Notre Dame, there's some weird stuff that's happened and some games that are close, and I'm sure we'll see about 75 flashbacks from, the years of, the former Notre Dame USC games. But I'm going with USC just because I want to hear Mike stick up for him again next week.
Well, they're not hard to stick up for until Washington.
Notre Dame, are we in agreement that they're out?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Are we in agreement that Wisconsin's out if they lose to Minnesota?
Absolutely. If Wisconsin loses again, they're out.
Well, yeah. Anybody that loses again now is out except for Alabama.
But here's the key question.
Are we in agreement that Louisville's out now?
I think Louisville was out probably about 6 minutes into that game last week.
Yeah, well put.
The thing that's a shame is that Houston had so many injuries after the Oklahoma win. Because, they might be sitting here undefeated
right now.
2 wins over top 10 teams, and they would probably be more than in the conversation right now if they would have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why is that Ward not in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy? That's one thing I was going to ask. And the quarterback from Houston, Ward.
Greg Ward, because he didn't have that great of a year. He had a lot of injuries on his offensive line. He had a lot of injuries all over the place. He's a hell of a player, though.
Very true.
Well, I'm going to go with USC minus the points because I think they're going to blow out Notre Dame. But seriously, Mike, you're going to advance the rivalry thing? I mean, Notre Dame got blown out by Stanford this year in a rivalry game. USC just
I didn't know that Notre Dame and Stanford was a rivalry game. I know you might be on the West Coast. The only place that is a rivalry game
is on the West Coast.
Stanford.
Well, look, in the heart of my, Rams 2.0 show co-host Tony Hunter, that's a rivalry game. He was certainly touting it as such.
Yeah. Okay. We got to do something to get people to listen, so. But Notre Dame USC is a historic rivalry. They're the first East Coast school to play the West Coast school consistently. You had Newt Rockne with the first forward pass. You had Anthony Davis with, 6 touchdown game when they were behind Notre Dame in 73 or 74. You had the green jersey game in 77 where USC comes out. They're heavily favored. Notre Dame shows up in their green jerseys and beats them 44-17. And there's a lot of history in the rivalry. Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer is an example of winning the Heisman on that last weekend. I mean, he comes out, he throws 4 or 5 touchdown passes against Notre Dame and clinched the Heisman then, which is why I still say if J.T. Barrett comes out and throws 4 or 5 touchdowns and they blow out Michigan, don't be surprised if he gets a shot at it.
I agree.
I just don't understand the rivalry thing. I mean, kids they don't care about, the friggin' 19th century football. They don't.
You don't understand the rivalry thing?
2005, Notre Dame USC. Matt Leinart gets pushed in by Reggie Bush.
Okay,
come on, the history of Notre Dame USC is comparable to almost any rivalry you've got.
But it has no bearing whatsoever on how bad Notre Dame is this season, for example. Look,
it doesn't have a bearing on how bad Kansas is, and they just beat Texas because they consider them a rival.
Well, when you're Kansas and you typically win 1 or 2 games a year, you consider everybody a rival.
Well, this is true. But Oregon State, even in the years that Oregon was the powerhouse and Chip Kelly was there,
give them a run.
Oregon State would give them a run, no matter how bad they were. They could be 4-6 or 5-5, and Oregon State would give Oregon a game.
Then how come you're taking USC minus the points, dude? How come Mike is? Right?
Well, Mike thinks this. Mike thinks it'll be a close game for about a half, like the UCLA-USC rivalry game. And then I believe that USC's more talent, better coaching, will blow them out in the second half.
And I agree.
Often
I agree with Mike,
all right,
but
this game,
I agree.
So this game...
The hell is that supposed to mean, Aaron? I thought we agreed most of the time. We just don't agree on Wisconsin.
Well, we can't be smart on everything, I guess.
Of course, Oz does egg on the Wisconsin argument for the first half hour of every show.
Here we go.
And
all I do is say Wisconsin, and you guys are off. I don't even have to finish the word. Okay. In any case, so basically what you guys are saying is this. You would take USC minus the points, but you would take Notre Dame plus 8.5 at the half, right?
Yeah, that would make sense.
A halftime spread? Okay. All right. Okay.
I think when you got a rivalry game, emotion only takes you so far. And the only way Notre Dame was to win that game is if they come out emotional, USC's not really up for it, and it's 20-0 by the end of the first quarter. Then they got a chance.
This season, Notre Dame could come out as the Incredible Hulk, and they would lose.
I honestly don't think that Notre Dame will be in the game by halftime.
Yeah, see, I don't either. Just Notre Dame.
Well, I don't really care. Can we go to the next game?
Yes, we can go to the next game. Here we go. Utah at number 9 Colorado. Colorado is only a 10-point favorite. I thought this one might be a little bit higher. Mike, go ahead.
I'll take Colorado, give the points. Utah's a good team, but I think Colorado's just better.
Okay. I like Colorado. Look, Colorado's won 5 in a row. If they hadn't lost that game to USC, they'd have won 8 in a row. Utah's lost 2 out of 3. I'm going Colorado minus the points, absolutely. What about you, Eric?
Make it a 3-pack. Yeah, I'm going with Colorado. I think Utah's a good program, and they're building, and I think that they've kind of etched their name into the Pac-12 talks every year, but I just don't think that they're there this year. I think Colorado is head and shoulders above them.
Okay. And here's our 10. They're very hot. Here's our 2 marquee games of the week. Number 15, Florida, at number 17, Florida State. Now, Florida State right now, today, is a 6.5-point favorite. Now, I'm wondering why the odds makers don't like Florida so much in this game. It's going to be closer than a touchdown, isn't it, Mike?
Shouldn't you ask Aaron first, one time at least?
Not in
you don't have to disrespect Aaron the whole damn show. Jeez.
Yes, I have.
I was wondering when he was going to come to me first, but hey.
I know. He's went to me 2 or 3 times in a row, and he's going to me again, totally disrespecting people from Wisconsin. I just thought I'd bring it up, and I defended your ass.
I think he probably feels bad for me because I've only had 5 minutes before the show to prepare on any of these games.
Well, what makes you think I had any minute? I wrote down the games that were going to be played. I didn't know the point spreads, and I didn't care. But you can ask anybody. I don't prepare. Go ahead. Ask Oz. He'll tell you. I fly by the seat of my pants all the time.
It doesn't pay to prepare. If you do, you end up thinking Western Kentucky is Western Michigan.
Yeah, see, that's what happens when you prepare. I try not to prepare. If you think too much, my old coach told me, you just screw yourself. So I've lived with that my entire life, and I've made it a habit to never think.
Okay, Aaron, screw Mike. What do you like in this game?
I like Florida State at home. I know it's the big rivalry game. I forget what they call it.
Here you go, guys. Rivalry game.
What is this rivalry week?
Right. It is rivalry week. My thing is this. Look, Florida plays in the SEC East. Florida State has had some pretty good opponents this year with Clemson, Louisville, and I think they're battle-tested. I think they'll come out and they will put it to Florida.
Okay. Mike?
I agree with Aaron. I think Florida State will blow them out. Florida State probably has to be the most disappointing team of the year. Like Aaron said, they had the 2 close losses there, but they also had a close loss at, I think, to North Carolina State. It was either them or North Carolina. I think it might have been North Carolina. They played a lot better competition because no matter what anybody says, the ACC is tougher than the SEC East.
Even more disappointing than Notre Dame.
Yeah, a lot more disappointing. I didn't think Notre Dame would be that good, but I thought Florida State would be a top 5 team.
Okay. Now, for this last game, I had planned to go to Aaron. There actually is a method to my madness.
Are you going to pick Florida State, Oz?
Once in a while. I already said I'm going Florida State.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm going Florida. Florida's going to cover that 6.5.
Yeah, but you didn't pick it, did he not? He didn't pick that, did he, Oz?
I didn't hear him because I didn't write it down.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Florida. There you go. Florida plus the 6.5.
Got it now.
Damn it.
All right, now the main event. You can go to Aaron first again. I don't care. I know you want to.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. I'm crying you a river here.
Because I have no doubt about the next game you're going to bring up if it's the last one.
All right. Here we go. University of New Mexico. No, I'm kidding. Number 4, Michigan at number 2, OSU. Ohio State favored by 6.5. Kind of getting in line with the Michigan might be slightly overrated. Aaron, do you agree? Is Michigan slightly overrated?
Absolutely, and I've been saying it all year. I believe that Ohio State will blow Michigan out. I think it's going to be like 38-17, 38-24, something like that. I don't even know if Michigan will score that many points. Their offense is suspect. They've been trying to get Jabril Peppers involved. I think he actually even threw like a reverse pass last week. That, to me, shows signs of desperation. I think that Harbaugh is trying to give Ohio State other things to game plan for to take the focus off his lack of ability to score. And I think Michigan's got a good defense, but I think Ohio State will score some points on defense themselves, and I think they'll also get a special teams touchdown or 2.
Okay. All right. Mike, are you going to – here, let me ask the question the way you might on another show. So are you going to be a wuss and go with Ohio State, or are you going to take Michigan in the points?
Well, Michigan has the best defense in the country, but they have the worst offense. Okay. So I'm going to disagree with Aaron. I think it'll be 41-3. Well, he said 34-17. I think it's going to be worse than that. I just don't see him scoring any points.
41-3.
I do disagree this, Aaron. I don't think they were overrated the first half of the season when they were healthy. They were scoring points. I mean, they put 40 on Colorado.
Yeah, they had great wins against Colorado and Penn State.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt if they stay completely healthy, they're in the final
risk of running the show off the rails. I think they're overrated. When Wisconsin played them, they lost 14-7 to Michigan, who was highly favored in that game. And I think Wisconsin proved that their defense belongs. I mean, they're one play away from beating
nobody didn't think Wisconsin had a good defense because they beat a 4-loss LSU team at home by 2 points.
It wasn't at home. It was at Lambeau.
Oh, damn, Aaron. I'm sorry, Aaron. As the kids say, apply cold water to burned area.
Hey, it's better to lose to a 4-loss team.
Sounded like a burn.
All I got to say is who's in first place on this Pick'em show right now?
I believe we're tied since we were tied the last 2 weeks.
No, I beat you this week. 7-3 I was, and you were 6-4.
How was I 6-4? Because you just said before we came on the show we were both 6-4. Did he not say that or not? I don't know.
No, that was because of the Wake Forest and Clemson game where we got that corrected.
I won the Wake Forest game.
I know. You got 4 others wrong. You got Michigan State. They covered. Washington State, Louisville, and Alabama. And the ones I got wrong were Michigan State, LSU, and Alabama.
Whatever. You're the one writing it down, so it's...
Well, at least we all agree I'm in last place.
Well, you can go back and listen to the show.
Why would I do that?
So you can
not that people shouldn't listen to the show.
Just not us.
Well, the main event is the NFL Pick'em show, which I'm kicking everybody's ass at. But go ahead.
Oh, is it now? Okay, all right. Well, in any case, Aaron, nice job on the picks. We know who's really ahead in this competition.
Thank you, Oz.
We know. So you're welcome, Mike. Good job, Aaron. You're the best, Aaron. Right.
How many times are you gonna say Aaron? Are you like in love with him now, or what?
I'm making up for all those times.
He's accusing you when you don't agree with him. You got to be in love with another man.
Aaron.
You know, you're
the best, Aaron. You're the best, Aaron.
I'm making up for all those times I didn't call him first. Apparently, I'm tutoring a couple of second and third graders here who need constant reassurance of going first.
Well, yeah, we do. Because it's disrespectful to not go to Aaron first every once in a while. It's like you just forgot he was there.
I didn't take it as disrespectful. I took it as letting me look up a couple of things and get my facts straight here so that...
You're looking stuff up?
Just looking up point spreads and what teams have done. Absolutely. I don't have everything in front of me.
Neither do I.
Okay.
I swear to God I don't.
Mike's got a fear.
Who are you picking, Michigan or Ohio State?
I was thinking Ohio State or Michigan because he didn't want to be a wuss.
Yeah, no, Ohio State's covering. No, Ohio State's covering. No, well, how can you go with Michigan? Michigan's
there he goes with that 12-year-old voice changing again.
Just trying to relate to you guys, man. Hey, look, if I'm 12, I'm still a couple of grade levels above you guys now.
Wow. You guys meaning Mike and somebody else that Mike has on the phone besides me?
You guys are all like, you don't call on me enough. Come on, teacher. Come on.
Hold on. Let's play this show back while we're on air.
5 times a week.
And you tell me where I complained about going first.
I could feel it, though. I could feel the angst in your voice just by why does he always pick him first?
Aaron, look, man, you're going to get caught in the crossfire on this show.
I think you're getting caught in crossfire here, Oz.
I'm sorry. No, I'm getting there's no crossfire at all. I'm getting
there's crossfire. Talking about being a couple grade levels above us. At least we ain't been kicked out of the country multiple times.
Many countries, for that matter. From what I heard.
He got kicked out of places that aren't even countries now, but they used to be.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they
shut him down because of him. I'm sure Oz has spent a lot of time in Amsterdam. Oz probably spent a lot of time in Amsterdam, haven't you, Oz?
Nah.
Yeah, see, I told you.
Amsterdam.
Oz is the mayor of Amsterdam.
Nah, Amsterdam is too expensive. Amsterdam's too expensive.
Are you talking about the women or the country?
Nah, the country. The women are better in Budapest, in Hungary. Yeah.
I don't think he got what I was saying there, did he, Aaron?
No, I got what
I don't think you got what you were saying there.
I never get what I'm saying.
All right. Well, should I wrap it, guys?
Yeah, don't forget to tell everybody to listen to the NFL Pick'em show tomorrow night so they can hear how in this one game all weekend.
Pick'em show. Don't forget to listen to the NFL Pick'em show here on the GrillingTruth.net tomorrow night when you can hear Mike Goodpaster be generally awesome at picking NFL games. Well, he is top of the table. I can say his name a couple of more times to just hammer home the point. Mike.
That's how you do, Aaron.
Mike. What date is Mike?
And speaking of Mike, check 1, 2. And speaking of Aaron is the co-host of the Titletown Huddle Green Bay Packers weekly show here at the GrillingTruth.net. I also allegedly appear on a few other football-themed podcasts here.
You're on the Jeff Fisher show.
On the GrillingTruth.net, including not the Jeff Fisher show, the LA Rams 2.0 weekly show with Tony Hunter. That appears once a week as well. We've got lots of stuff here at the GrillingTruth.net, so check it out. If you actually got to the end of this podcast, congratulations. I hope you check us out again here at the College Football Weekly Pick'em Show. For my co-hosts Mike Goodpaster and Aaron Zepnick, I'm Oz Davis. We are out of here. Enjoy the games.